with a check mark.
Okay.
Check. Okay. So we're going to go over the A and P body systems. So this is all review, for the Mblex. Good times. Good times. So many pictures for you guys. There are probably going to be questions on the cardiovascular system. I've heard that in the past from students that are like, oh, I forgot about the heart. So make sure you pay attention to that. But you're lucky you'll just get urinary system or something. Some stupid question. All right. So the cardiovascular system is responsible for what? Transporting blood through the body and delivering oxygen and nutrients, and also removing waste products. It's what it's full. The functions: transport oxygen and nutrients, remove carbon dioxide and metabolic waste, regulate your body temp, maintain pH balance, and distribute hormones. The heart. Per Valentine's Day. The glasses. That's what sold me on that set. Anyhow, I wish you guys could see right now. Okay, so the heart's main role, or the role of the heart, it functions as a pump. It's a muscle, right? Cardiac muscle. It creates pressure that moves the blood through the vessels. These are the chambers. There's 4. Right atrium, right ventricle, and then you also have the left side, the atrium and the left ventricle. Blood flow. So here's a diagram on the flow of the blood. So it travels in a continuous loop. If it didn't, you would die. Right? There are 2 main circuits, the pulmonary and the systemic. We're going to break down the 2 real quick. And for funsies, if you want to kind of study the diagram while you're studying for your Mblex, go right ahead, as long as you need to. Obviously, in this picture, red means oxygenated blood, and blue will always mean deoxygenated. Pulmonary means lungs. So pulmonary circulation is heart to lungs. So it's going to the lungs to get oxygenated. So what happens there is the right atrium pumps into the right ventricle, then to the pulmonary arteries, to the lungs. The carbon dioxide is released, oxygen is picked up, brought back to the heart. Here's a fun picture. When you see systemic circulation, we're talking about the heart distributing the blood to the rest of the body. So that's the difference between the 2. Pulmonary, lungs, systemic, body. So the systemic works on the left side, right? So it goes into the left atrium, to the left ventricle, the aorta, and then the body tissues. And then this is when you have your oxygen delivered to your cells. Good times roll, baby. So here's the complete blood flow pathway for any of you that want to touch up on this. Left side here on the diagram will show all the deoxygenated blood, and then obviously red oxygenated, right? So it goes from your body to the vena cava, and then it goes to the right atrium. So we're going to go, if you see the diagram 1, 2, 3, 4, it actually shows you which part of the heart the blood is flowing through, right? Where am I at here? Right ventricle. Then it goes to the pulmonary arteries, to the lungs, to the pulmonary veins, to the left atrium, left ventricle, aorta, body. Boom, bada bing. Isn't that fun? Lub dub. Types of blood vessels. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. They are oxygenated. Veins return the blood to the heart. So if you forget what you're doing, look at your arm while you're taking your test, and your veins are blue, right? Capillaries. I made that purple because red and blue, color theory makes purple. The capillaries will exchange the gases and nutrients between the two, okay? So when you think of blood capillaries, that's what we're doing. All right, the capillary exchange. Oxygen and nutrients go to the tissues that are needing it. Carbon dioxide and waste get pulled back out, and it's a continuous loop. And then actually, remember, we're going to go back over lymphatic. Lymphatic is tied into the capillary system. So that's when the lymphatic system is actually taking those waste and the byproducts and running it through we'll call it the filter of the body. Blood components. This picture was cute. I like cartoons. So blood is composed of plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Red blood cells carry oxygen using hemoglobin, and they transport carbon dioxide away from the tissues. So the system integration with the whole system we just went over, cardiovascular, works closely with the respiratory system, works with the lymphatic system as well for fluid balance, and also supports muscle system during movement. So that's why you're studying the system, because we can indirectly and directly affect. There you go, Gary. The cardiovascular system.
I took screenshots of the ones I missed on my practice test, and every freaking one of them.
We'll get it. We're going to drill you with these.
Oh my God, I was so mad.
So what's the relevance with massage with the cardiovascular system? So like I said, it can influence your circulation. The venous return is assisted by a muscle contraction and pressure. So that's why as we physically touch the body, we can move the stuff, right? The stuff. Wow, that's so medical sounding. Also, the direction of your massage stroke matters. If you're going to go towards the heart, everything's going to help with your circulation. Now, say somebody is really worked up and you want to slow down everything, you're going to take your strokes away from the heart. So that's actually really good for somebody with a really bad headache, is to go away from the heart when doing the arms. Mblex tip, arteries. Don't forget, usually carry oxygenated blood except in the pulmonary artery. Veins usually carry deoxygenated blood except the pulmonary veins. So inside, the lungs, the pulmonary veins and arteries, just cancel those out because they're not the same as regular veins and arteries in this aspect. Another tip. Remember, pulmonary circulation, heart to lungs, systemic, heart to body. All right, gotta wet my whistle. Took 8 minutes to do that. Let's keep going, baby. I'm probably gonna divide this into part 1 and part 2 for the video's sake. About halfway. And then that's when we'll do break. Respiratory system. The function and exchange of gas. Or function and gas exchange. Just kidding. So the respiratory system is responsible for breathing and gas exchange. It supplies oxygen to the blood, removes carbon dioxide. Functions. Oxygen intake, carbon dioxide removal, regulation of blood pH, and support of speech and smell. Good times. Major organs. The nose, or the nasal cavity, so your sinuses. The pharynx, the larynx, the trachea, bronchi, lungs, and alveoli. Airflow pathway. So the exact order that I just said it before. Nose, pharynx, larynx, trachea, so on, right? All right. So the gas exchange. Tiny air sacs surround each capillary in the lung. The oxygen diffuses into blood, and carbon dioxide is diffused out. Inhalation, exhalation. So when we inhale, the diaphragm contracts and flattens. So here is, which one is? Okay. Inhale, flattens. When it exhales, it goes up because it's pushing the air out. So think of that as you are sitting in your chair and you have an Mblex question about the diaphragm. Okay. So when you inhale, your thoracic cavity will expand, right? That makes sense. Air flows into the lungs. You exhale. The diaphragm punches your lungs up, pushes the air out, and air comes out of your lungs. All right. And then your thorax depresses. It's depressed. System integration. Remember, it works directly with the cardiovascular system. Blood transports oxygen from lungs to tissues. Easy enough, right? What's the relevance? Massage can assist relaxation of respiratory muscles. It also improves your circulation, thus supporting oxygen delivery. Tip. Gas exchange occurs in the alveoli, not the bronchi. Oxygen enters blood by diffusion. Dun, dun, dun. You guys with me? Lymphatic system. Woo-hoo-hoo. Going through it quicksies. Also, lymphatic massage is treacherous. Side note, I had a student who's a deep tissue queen reach out and ask about taking a lymphatic course. I said, don't do it. I said, if you love your deep tissue, this is going to be absolute torture for you. She's like, thanks for your honesty. I'm like, yep, you're welcome. But for people who like light touch, you can, but
You can also refer out.
yes, you can. That's what I do. I hate it, but anyhow, it's just boring. It's slow and boring. I got too much in my brain. I got too much energy to get out.
I watch them on videos and stuff. They don't look like they're as light as what
There's
being told by somebody.
there's all kinds of different versions of lymphatic massage, but it's supposed to be light so that you don't collapse the capillaries, which would, be the opposite of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
All right, so lymphatic and immune system function and fluid balance. Lymphatic system maintains fluid balance and supports your immune system. It returns excess fluid to the bloodstream. Functions. Maintain fluid balance. Return proteins to your blood. It defends against pathogens. It is, our immune system. And it absorbs dietary fats. So it's not just the immune system. It has other functions. Don't forget that because you might get a trick question on the Mblex. The components. Lymph, the fluid we'll talk about, right? Lymphatic vessels, nodes, the spleen, the thymus, and tonsils are all part of the lymphatic system. You laughing at me?
I just thought of something from Love is Blind about the spleen. I'll tell you later.
So remember how I said the lymphatic system is tied in with the blood capillaries? Here it is, a ball of different colored yarn, all balled up, intertwining, pulling out wastes and proteins to deliver it through the body. Okay, fun times. Woo! The lymph pathway. So remember that most of the body will empty into the left subclavian vein. Most of it, other than the right arm, the right thorax, and the right side of the head. So this is that sucker that gets you. So the pathway starts with your interstitial fluid. This is fluid just hanging out in between things, right? And then this fluid goes into the capillaries, all right? So the capillaries are pulling the interstitial fluid before it becomes lymph out, all right, of the tissue. Then it goes into your vessels. Then the vessels, remember, are a one-way ticket, I guess. One-way door, one-way valve. So fluid cannot go backwards in it. So then it goes into your lymph nodes, which are the little balls that you will feel sometimes that get swollen when you're sick, or if there is infection happening in that area, perhaps, because you can get swollen lymph nodes anywhere. Then the lymph nodes will keep going up along to the thoracic duct, and then it divides, all right, to the right lymphatic duct, and then back to circulation, venous circulation. So that's that. Good times roll, baby. Ooh, I really liked this picture up here. It's probably AI, but lymph nodes. Here's a little picture of the lymph structure for funsies if you kind of wanted to know. So the lymph nodes filter the lymph fluid. They contain the white blood cells, and they become swollen during an infection. Here's the white blood cells. Lymphocytes, macrophage, and neutrophils. So these little guys are going to go in and latch on to the things that they think are tasty, like pizza. All right. The system integration. Why is this important? Because it works closely with the cardiovascular system, and it supports immune response throughout the body. Massage. Wow. Massage can support your lymph movement, hence lymphatic massage. But also, massage anyhow affects the blood and lymph, right? So massage flows slowly without a pump. That's why sometimes somebody who's maybe sedentary will start getting swollen ankles, because you need a contraction or something to physically move your lymph onto its path, right? So maybe somebody like that just had a surgery, or a senior that, you know, isn't really moving much. Massage is really good to get their lymph and their blood working more optimally. Gentle pressure is key for lymphatic. Any questions yet, guys, as I torture you?
So I do have a quick question.
Okay.
On the practice Mblex, it showed a cell, like the previous slide, and it showed it all jaggedy and stuff, but I couldn't tell what, it was asking me what it was or what job it did, and I didn't even know what the picture was. Like, how do I find those pictures of what I'm looking at? Because that's exactly what it reminded me of.
I'll have to see the question.
I wish I would have taken a picture of it. It looks like a red blood cell, but it's spiky, and I didn't know what it was.
COVID.
Well, kinda. It reminded me of that, but it, yeah. So I was like, oh, take a stab.
It was asking what kind of cell it was.
Well, no, like what its job was. So
I just like one of those ones where it was like you had to read all the answers, and one of the answers was the best answer.
Right.
Versus
Well, but you had to know if it was a white blood cell or a leukocyte, like a red blood cell or a leukocyte, or because I think
I would say no to red blood cell because it reminds you of a donut.
Well, yeah, but this was spiky, so then I was like,
I would
is
think
that-
it was
is
some
that
kind of
like
white blood cell.
leukemia or something, or
Yeah. Good
I don't know.
question.
So, anyways, but
That's when
that-
you just make the best,
And that's what I did. I was like,
make your
well,
best
I don't
answer
know where to find
happen.
these pictures
Yeah.
to know what it is.
Here's a spiky one. Could have been a monocyte. Yeah, that's tricky.
there was one I took yesterday that
we're gonna go
It was
back.
a picture of a guy's face, and it asked what it was a picture of, and it was like the pulled up lip, and I thought Bell's palsy was everything pulled down, so I didn't pick Bell's palsy. It was Bell's palsy.
Well, then there was
Yeah,
one
that's
of
exactly
the,
what it looked like. It was like
of
the
like,
curled lip.
I don't know if it was impetigo on a guy's face.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
I didn't
It was
pick
like
that
green
one.
and scabby and stuff, and I just put stay away and, contraindication.
Yeah,
It said
impetigo's super
reschedule.
contagious. I would.
Well, it said to reschedule and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what impetigo, I guess I need to go back to our thing from last semester and look at, see what it looks like.
Is it considered a fungus?
Impetigo?
Is it a fungal?
It's just an infection, isn't it?
Oh, I
Bacterial
think it
infection?
is.
Maybe it is fungal.
I think you're right.
I think it's fungal.
Cause it said to
Let's double
reschedule
check.
until it clears up.
I'm gonna look.
I was like, I don't even know what I'm looking at, like, to me it
I'm
just looked
surprised
like,
it doesn't tell you what
No,
it
it's a
is.
bacterial, right?
no, that was the question.
Wait.
So,
Hold on.
like,
Bacterial.
what would you do? And I just said it was
Or
treated
fungal.
as a local contraindication and don't do it, but apparently because it's highly contagious. you
It's
would say
caused by
reschedule.
bacteria.
I think maybe we should start taking some practice courses.
Yeah, me too, because I thought it was kind of fungal. Skin infection caused by bacteria, streptococcus or staphylococcus. So
Okay.
that's why it's contagious. Yeah. All right, so Mblex tip, edema equals excess interstitial fluid in the space, right? Lymphatic system prevents fluid buildup. Bum, nervous system, baby. Just sing for each one. The nervous system is the body's primary communication and control system. It sends and receives signals, electrical and chemical signals. I put a phone. Why not? I amuse myself. Functions, sensory input, integration of information, motor output, and maintenance of homeostasis. We're going to divide it into two systems. Central nervous system, CNS, peripheral nervous system, PNS. This is fun, this part. So the division. Your central nervous system, just think center of your body, is going to be brain, spinal cord. All right? So this will process information, right, and figure out what to do with this information. Your peripheral nervous system would be cranial nerves, spinal nerves, and information from the central nervous system. So this is everything else, right? And then also we'll branch off more, right, into autonomic and somatic. And that's what this is. You ready, Freddy? Somatic nervous system. This is voluntary control of skeletal muscles. It's a conscious sensation. So that's like you going, I'm going to grab this cup and drink it. Drink the cup. Drink the contents in the cup. Your autonomic nervous system is involuntary. So this would be regulating your organs, your glands, smooth muscle. Without this functioning, things that are involuntary might not function correctly. Death. All right. So then we're going to go into your sympathetic and your parasympathetic, all right? So remember your sympathetic division. I put fight or flight response. If you can't remember the two, I have a couple. Well, my big one is the parasympathetic, all right? But so sympathetic, think fight or flight. Here's a picture of a bully. Do you feel sympathetic towards the kid getting bullied? Right, you should. Fight or flight, baby. So during fight or flight, also think a tiger getting its prey. You feel bad for the wildebeest, right? All right, you're feeling very sympathetic. So during this, you have an increased heart rate, respiration, so that you can get to something quickly, all right? And those muscles are going to wear out quicker, right? Parasympathetic. Think a parasite. This guy is digesting worms. Rest and digest. This will decrease your heart rate and promote digestion. The reason why this is here is because massage will affect the parasympathetic nervous system. So we want that to happen. We want to chill them out. Neuron structure. Remember this bad boy? So the dendrites are on one side and the axons transmit the signals, all right? So you have dendrite, goes down the myelin sheath, and then something happens as the axon transmits that signal. The nerve impulse pathway, what happens here, you have a stimuli or some kind of stimulus, a sensory neuron. Central nervous system says, hey, something's going on. Motor neuron says, let's respond. So this is kind of that pathway here. All right. Makes sense. Stimulus, central nervous system response. The synapse. This is that little section between neurons so that things can happen and they can deliver a quick response to another neuron, right? They use neurotransmitters. A lot of neurotransmitters are chemical, okay? And they use this to transfer signals. Boom, baby, boom. So this is a tiny little, see how this box is right here at the end of the neuron? This is it close up. Cool, cool, cool. So massage system integration. It coordinates with muscle system for movement. That's why you need to know about the nervous system. And it works with the endocrine system for long-term regulation, homeostasis of the body. So massage can influence your parasympathetic activity. It promotes relaxation, decreases stress responses, releases hormones, which will be endocrine, right? Tip. Remember this if you can't remember anything else. Sympathetic, fight or flight. Parasympathetic, rest and digest. The endocrine system. Function and hormonal regulation. Endocrine system regulates body functions using hormones. I have a joke, but it's inappropriate. I'll tell you later. Write this on here. All right. Endocrine system regulates body functions using hormones. And hormones are chemical messengers that are released into your bloodstream to make things happen. Primary functions: regulate metabolism, control growth and development, maintain homeostasis, regulate reproduction, and coordinate stress response, and wreak havoc on women's bodies after the age of 40. Always, actually always. Key concept of hormones is they act slowly but have longer lasting effects. They travel through the bloodstream to target organs. Endocrine versus nervous system. The difference? The endocrine's slow, like I've said, long-lasting responses. The nervous system's fast, short-lived responses. So the tortoise and the hare. Some major endocrine glands would be hypothalamus, pituitary, the thyroid, parathyroid, adrenal glands, pancreas, gonads. So gonads are either the testes for the woman or ovaries for the, or backwards, testes for the man, ovaries for the woman. All right. And also, if you guys feel like, looking at pictures to remember where things are, that's cool too. All right, pituitary gland. This is known as master gland. It regulates your other endocrine glands. And it's this little guy. This little guy here. The thyroid gland. It regulates your metabolism. That's a big one. It affects your energy, weight, and temperature in your neck. And then this is actually a really cool picture I found. I don't think the Mblex is going to ask you specific hormones, but it has the different glands. It might. I don't know. It has the different glands, and it has which hormone is released by those. And I thought that was cool.
There is a question that shows the two different hands about the growth hormone.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to get that one wrong. Pituitary. All right. Adrenal glands. These guys hang out on top of your kidneys. Just they're best friends, besties. They produce stress hormones. They support your fight or flight response. Your pancreas is a really weird looking organ. It regulates blood sugar, produces insulin, and glucagon. And here's a picture of that bad boy. Hiding behind some things, right? Then you have your negative feedback mechanism or your negative feedback loop, whatever you want to call it. The hormone levels rise, the gland reduces whatever secretion it has, and then it helps the body maintain homeostasis. So you have a stimuli, receptor, central control, and then the effect, right? Kind of reminds you of a nerve. Something happens, there's a big loop, and then something happens. Wow. All right. So endocrine system works closely with your nervous system. And remember, this hormones support long-term regulation. And when your hormones are off, your body is not functioning properly. You can have all kinds of issues happening. The relevance for massage, we may influence stress hormones. And we can support your parasympathetic activity. Tip. Don't forget, hormones act slower than nerves. And the negative feedback maintains a homeostasis in the body. We're getting through it.
One of the things that this guy that wrote this book really pushes is knowing those medical origins, the prefixes, the suffixes, like knowing those things so that if you don't know a word,
You can make it up or not make it, break it down.
Endocrine, exocrine, endo into exo is outside of renal. Like you know that renal are
We're talking about the
is
kidney.
To the kidneys, like you can break down a word. So one of the things I've really been trying to focus on is those.
Yeah,
last week or
gaster,
the week
stomach.
before, like really knowing those. That way, if you do come across a word that you just don't know, you can break it down.
Yeah, there's a lot. Caudal, dorsal,
Yeah.
tons of stuff. Tons of stuff. Study your medical term. I wish the school made you guys do a medical term class. That'd be cool. I'd be cool. That'd be cool. All right, muscular system. Getting closer to where we need to be. Remember, the muscular system produces movement through contraction, and it maintains posture and generates heat. Don't forget the heat part. Bring on the heat. Functions: movement, posture maintenance, stabilizing joints, and heat production. 3 types: skeletal, cardiac, and smooth. Let's break it down. Skeletal is voluntary control. Attaches to your bones. It produces movement. Cardiac, involuntary. Thank God. Can you imagine if you had to think every time you had to pump your heart? It's only found in the heart, hence the word cardiac muscle. And it's a rhythmic contraction. Lub-dub, lub-dub. Smooth, involuntary also. Lines the walls of organs and vessels. And it helps move substances through your organs. Think of how a snake swallows its prey. Snakes are just solid muscle. Anybody ever eat a snake?
Rattlesnake bites.
I had rattlesnake and hare and rabbit in a soup once, but I didn't know what was what.
Squirrel.
There's a place up north called Zoop, and it's like soup and sandwiches, and they have like 12 different soups each day. It's great. I should get like a kickback for promoting people. Muscle contraction basics. Muscle fibers shorten when the nerves stimulate them, and a contraction produces force. Let's talk about these sliding filaments. Woo! Woo! So you need something called actin and myosin to create a muscle contraction. So what happens, quickly in a nutshell, is they will slide over each other to create a shortened state or a contracted state, right? And also you need ATP, it's not on here, to create a contraction. Oh, it's right here. Oh. ATP is required for muscle contraction. I thought I was being a know-it-all just now, but I'm not. So oxygen is oxygen availability affects your endurance, which is why when you're working out heavy or running heavy, you are breathing more heavily because your body is trying to oxygenate the lungs. Or the lungs. That too. Oxygenate the body, the muscles. When we get through this, we'll take a break. All right. System integration. Muscle system works closely with your skeletal system for movement. It's controlled by the nervous system, and it's supplied by the cardiovascular system. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk? Relevance to massage. Massage can reduce muscle tension. Really? It supports your circulation and relaxation and assists in recovery from fatigue. Pro tip for Mblex. Skeletal muscle is the only voluntary muscle, and muscle contractions require ATP. ATP. All right, we're going to take a break.